Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
After Zoomies at the dog park, it's time for Drive Up at Target. In goes a big bag of kibble and one squeaky chicken toy for the good boy. Drive Up that's ready when you are, only in the Target app. Just tap Target.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Thad, you know I fall in love very easily. I'm a romantic, and I can watch a player in one training session, and that's my guy for his entire career. Am I wrong here? I've seen enough. This is a loan that we have Santiago Muñoz on.
Yeah.
I've seen enough. Sign the guy.
Complete the deal, man. Complete the deal.
He's only played, it's 156 minutes according to FootMob right now. Sign him. 156 minutes, I'm in. Sign the guy. I like it.
Yeah, he's performed way better than that old number 7 we had.
Back at it again with another shade of blue. We are the KC Soccer Journal. My name is Cody Bradley. Thad Bell and Kerry Robinson are here. Thad Bell was apparently not ready for me to start this podcast. What was that? What was the hand in the air? You look confused. What did I do wrong, Thad? I'm so excited. We had a win. Sporting Kansas City won. There's so much to love about this right now. And we finally start this podcast and you're giving me like, oh, wait, no. What are we doing?
No, we were talking for like a half hour now. Well, more than that now, 40 minutes roughly. And somebody who had purposely made sure their house was quiet and everything was ready. And then, because we were taking so long, they went and turned their air conditioner back on, but you didn't give that person any warning in order to turn it back off before we started the pod up. So right now, I'm just filibustering until I make sure she's back and has plenty of time.
That was
so
great.
That's why.
Great filibustering. Yes, the loyal listeners of the show will remember Carrie's very loud air conditioner that disturbs all of the podcasts. I'm sorry, Carrie. I didn't know that you had turned it back on.
I just don't want to have yet another episode of Cody muting everyone to see who is the culprit of random music or random noises.
Well, it's always you.
Yeah. What random noise can Carrie come up with today?
I will not let any of you suck the wind out of my sails after that game last night. That was a classic Sporting Kansas City win. I will remember this one for a while. 2 goals in stoppage time. They had every opportunity the whole game. You felt like they were going to get it, and they finally came around. This team is fighting for Kerry Zavagnin, and I love this right now. There's so much to talk about. We're recording here tonight on Thursday while the Lady Yanks are beating up on Ireland at the moment. There's so much soccer to talk about. There's so much from that game to talk about. We've got the return of Johnny Russell and William Agata this weekend. Everyone is back. Sporting KC is so back. This podcast is back. But Thad, I want to start here with Manu Garcia. Another fantastic performance from our maestro. He was the player of the match for Sporting Kansas City. That brilliant pass for the winner. And it looks like he just returned from the trenches. Like he just returned from battle in World War II. I know I just said the trenches. That's World War I. Nobody get me for that. For some reason, it reminds me of World War II with that thing on. and 2 assists on the night. Thad, give me what you're feeling about Manu Garcia right now.
I'm just feeling very historically confused by you and all of your history facts here.
I threw out a whole bunch right there.
I'm thinking the Revolutionary War with the guy playing the fife and, with the bandage and somebody with the flag and a drummer going bouncing along. And it looks like somebody could have marched right out of the cauldron,
Oh, you're so right. That's so much better than the trenches or World War II. He does look like the guy playing the fiddle or banging the drum in the Revolutionary War.
To be fair, he is Spanish, so
okay.
Well, they have had their own civil wars, but I really don't know the politics of that, so I'm not going to touch that.
Oh, man. Okay, well, anyway, Manu Garcia, 2 goals and 8 assists on the season, depending on who you're looking at. MLS is giving him 8 assists. We were looking at this before the game. The second assists are apparently not counted on FootMob. For all of you, we talk about FootMob a lot on here. We know a lot of you use that. And I, having worked for them in the past, literally just realized that if I look on FootMob at a player's assists, then they are going to be different than what Major League Soccer is officially crediting them with. So,
do you know why?
Well, because of the second assists, yes?
But do you know why they don't care about the second assist? Because Europe doesn't care about the second assist.
Because no one else does?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look at FBref or all the other ones, they don't count the second assist.
Of course.
It's more European-centric.
And that's no way, I'm not faulting FootMob there. That's just probably the proper way to do it. For our listeners, if you're looking at FootMob, just know Manu has 8 assists, not 5. We're giving him 8 assists because that was a beautiful, I think he was in Sporting Kansas City's own half, was he not? To play that ball all the way up there for Santiago Muñoz, who played it off his nose. He balanced it on his nose, Thad, to score this goal. There was just so much from this game. But I do want to sit here with Manu because we need to respect this man and everything he's doing for this team in this rebuilding year. He has 4 assists in the last 3 games, Thad. This is a guy that you build a team around in a year that we are rebuilding.
Him and Dayon and perhaps Santi Muñoz too.
Yeah, even the backup striker. I know we're gonna get to Santiago Muñoz, but I do want to hear, Carrie. What do you think of Manu Garcia and how he's running this team during the rebuild?
It was great. I was a little concerned that he could not see from down in the cauldron. We just assumed that he'd gotten hit in the head, nothing had happened, and then he was down for a while, and then I think David said something about like, is he okay? And I was like, is there blood? And the next thing you know, I'm like, can he even see?
Yeah, it looked like one of his eyes was blocked. And honestly, I can't, just tattered and battered, just pinging the ball around the field and makes one of the most beautiful passes I've seen from a Sporting Kansas City player this season.
And Sporting posted a photo that said 3 points, and it was him pointing to his 3 stitches in his eyebrow. It was glorious. This guy is officially a Sporting player who has put his blood on that field for us for 3 points for an amazing comeback game.
Do they water that blood in, and is there like blood grass in there now? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, you're supposed in basketball, any other sport, you just stop the game. Somebody's bleeding, it's like everybody stop. We got to get the blood off of everywhere. And soccer players who are supposed to be the pussies just put some tape over it, and they're still bleeding and still get assists for the game winner.
Well, and two assists after that happened. Not 1, 2. Although he wasn't credited with the 1 at first, but he did get it. So, would you like a little bit of trivia? Just a little bit?
Oh my God, yes, Thad Bell.
This is the 4th time in Sporting history the team scored twice in stoppage time, second half stoppage time. And of those 4, it's the 3rd time that they scored the game-tying and game-winning goals. This year with Mason Toye and Jovic. October 2018, Busio and Shallowy, 94th and 97th minute. 2015, Jalil Anibaba and Christian Nemeth. 2007, Eddie Johnson and Scott Seeley.
The Nemeth one, that was Portland, right? They came back against Portland, and that was his goal of the year. I think that was what that was.
That could very well be. I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds right.
Yeah, I'm glad you went back and gave us all of those. That was good. That was from Are you? We got to credit the Sporting KC communications team for that stat, though.
Yes,
right?
they did. Yes, they did provide that in the post-game presser. So
What a goal that was.
Yes.
He balanced it off his nose. I can't. God, I love that play. Let's talk about Santiago Muñoz. He has 2 goals, 1 assist through just a few short appearances here, and that adds up to more than 1 goal per 90 minutes. And Thad, everything he's showing, every time he's out there, I see enough that it's like, man, if he had 90 minutes, then I do believe he's going to get at least 1 goal.
He's going to get more time. I mean, he's got to, and especially if anybody up front is injured. But yeah, he's got to get more time, man, because it looked really good with him and Dayon as kind of the 2 strikers.
Yeah, how do you stop those 2 together, Carrie?
I mean, before we talk about what KZ kind of talked about afterwards, like, you're already thinking, like, in the motion, like, he's got to be starting soon.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. That Carey did say he's going to be a key player here in the second half of the season, but that's the question. So I was feeling the same thing, like this guy has to get more involved. But so Carey, do you put him in more as a winger? Where's the minutes for him? Because you got to have Joveljic out there. Even if he only touches it 5 times a game, he gets his goal every game pretty much. So where's the room for Muñoz out there?
He's got to be, I would take over and put him in Shoppy's spots. And, if Shoppy or Tommy is having a better game, then he slots in on, easier said than done. He can slot in over for Daniel Shallowy. Again, easier said than done. But just to keep him up there, up top, and kind of just fill in the gaps around.
Yeah, Thad, I don't know. Do you sub out Joveljic every 70th minute and give him 20 minutes a game, or how are you getting him involved more? Or I guess we're going to talk about that too. Joveljic was carried away like a king, I might add. We'll talk about him as well, but I don't know. Is that how you do this going forward? How do you get Muñoz on the field?
That's a really good question, but I would start getting him in there. Maybe he starts on the left and starts on the right and starts in the middle, and you just give everybody a rest and, like rotate him through all of those positions if you're going to stay with that formation. But it might behoove Carey Zavagnin to just start changing up the formation a little bit and trying to make use of those 2 talented guys there. I haven't seen what Tommy or Shallowy or Shoppy would look like as like wide guys in a 4 or a 3-5, but
4-4-2 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean 4-4-2. Yeah,
that's what I was kind of getting towards there, because man, that heel flick that he had that was almost a goal. You got to have that guy in the box. He tries these things occur to him that don't occur to other people. This is a player that you have to have in the box, and so even this idea of just putting him on the wing instead of Shoppy, I don't even want to hurt his development in any way as a young striker that might be incredibly good. And so that's what I was getting towards there, is maybe there is a formation change coming. Does Carey look at that with 2 strikers that are in form? The days of Peter Vermees are gone, and the loyalty to this formation that we've always done. So I don't know. Do we think maybe a formation change is coming to get these 2 strikers together?
He could easily pull a 2014 Vermees lineup, put them both in there, and Santi is somehow playing that 10 spot like how Alan Pleo used to.
Or when he was trying to put Claudio Bieler and Dom Dwyer on the field at the same time.
Yeah, I think this would work way better than some of those others if you put Santi as the false 9 and Dayon up top, man, because if he can just get the ball, or he can, Dayon is a great poacher as, finding rebounds and shit too. So either one of those would work really well.
Which we had kind of seen that in Houston whenever he got that goal, he said that he was very much out there more as a defensive. He just didn't really even think about attacking a defensive. Was on his first thought. And so then whenever he eventually got that breakaway, then he was able to score it. But he said he was very much more defensive minded whenever we went into that Houston game as a sub.
That I fall in love very easily. I'm a romantic, and I can watch a player in one training session, and that's my guy for his entire career. Am I wrong here? I've seen enough. This is a loan that we have Santiago Muñoz on.
Yeah.
I've seen enough. Sign the guy. It's
complete the deal, man. Complete the deal.
He's only played it's 156 minutes according to FootMob right now. Sign him. 156 minutes. I'm in. Sign the guy. I like it.
Yeah, he's performed way better than that old number 7 we had. Carey just gave me a hell of a look. Like I could die.
Double that 7. Give it to the next team. Get it? Because he's number 77 now.
Yeah. Yep. Which we will see soon, probably.
We will this weekend. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about William Agata and Johnny Russell in the RSL game coming up here.
I have a strategy because we're going to have an issue with that, but we'll talk about that when we get to that game.
Okay. I do want to talk about Dejan Joveljic. 11 goals on the season. He's officially in 3rd place in the Golden Boot. 6 goals in the last 6 games, I believe is what that is. Is he okay after that winner? He kind of fooled us, right? As someone who was watching on TV, the goal went in, he did the turn and look at the corner flag and then stopped running. And it was because he was holding his leg. But I'm standing there in front of my TV with arms in the air like, what? Did we score? Did we win? What's going on?
As somebody who had a much better look than most people, it wasn't just his leg. It was more of the curve of the cheek meeting the leg. It was
Okay. The high glute, the low glute and the high hamstring.
Yeah. The glam string or whatever.
Yeah.
I just invented that, so I wasn't prepared, obviously. So I was like, for a minute, I was wondering, was he faking it? Was he,
what's going on?
Was he gonna start twerking? Was he gonna do something? I didn't know. And then he did have a grimace, but he also had a celebratory look and a grimace at the same time. But I'm not really sure that's different.
Everybody running up and hugging him was still really happy while he's in pain, and they just kind of grabbed him and laid him down on the ground. Yeah,
Mason helped him down, and then he gets there, and then he kind of goes down into a half sit up, half back, and he didn't want to go all the way back down. Maybe that would make it hurt more. I don't know. Bartlett comes over, sees what's going on. He runs behind the net, and I don't know where he gets this, but he comes back with a little bottle, and I don't know if it's a hot shot, one of those things, and a water bottle. And he's over there, here, take this. And he's putting the bottle down, he's going to try to cool something off. I don't know what was going on because it was partly covered, and I don't know.
I like that. Bartlett in the heat of the moment there, just in a panic, just really wanting to support his teammate, doesn't entirely know what's going on. Here, is this water bottle? Is this magic spray? I hope this works.
Well, I was wondering if it was one of those hot shots for when you have cramps, And I was waiting because if he drank that, man, I was looking for the face he would make if he did actually drink that thing. But yeah, it was I didn't know what was going on. And then they're over there for a long time. And then if you notice, he's sitting outside of the field, except his heels are inside of the field because they can't restart while he's injured on the field, right? Yeah. So eventually the ref comes over there. Yeah. And the ref's like, no, you got to get off the field. So they turned him sideways so he was parallel to the end line. And then eventually they got him up and they start hobbling him off. And then at some point somebody else carried him because that was out of my vision at that point. But
yeah, they did. Thad, maybe you haven't, where it's just the day after here. Maybe you haven't seen the pictures of him. Eventually, multiple people picked him up and just carried him along the sideline like he's the prince of Children's Mercy Park. It was glorious.
Well, I didn't know if it was that or they carry off Spider-Man at the end of one of those movies, when he saves the Amtrak or the whatever, and he's all hurt. They just all carry his body off like he's to be protected from the evil refs or something.
I want to say that I also didn't know what was happening. I was in the cauldron, so obviously I just saw the goal. But I was more interested in what John Postcamp was doing, because after that goal went in, he turned around and knee slid to the cauldron.
Yes, Big Bear.
I've just never seen that before, and I was like, oh my god. We thought he was gonna come over and jump the wall as if he scored.
He was gonna go through the wall.
Well, so
nothing can keep the bear in.
I do want to talk about the Big Bear, but Thad, did we get any word today, any response from Joveljic's condition today?
No, we're not going to get anything today. Tomorrow we'll see, but they'll probably play it coy tomorrow even. So,
I mean, he had also said that he thinks that it's just cramps.
Yeah.
There's a quote from him.
He said that in the post game because we asked him, and it was. But again, I don't know that he's going to tell us the truth. So
fair.
He was walking, and it didn't look like it was like, oh my God, I'm in pain, but he also wasn't like just as bouncy or something. I don't know that he's never bouncy, but.
Well, it feels like a fever dream as a Sporting Kansas City fan our striker's injured, but we've got another guy ready to go who's ready to score goals, and we know he can do it. That just
with his nose.
Who can balance the ball on his goddamn nose. I'm not ready. This doesn't feel real. The team isn't good, and all of a sudden we have two good strikers. I don't know how this has happened.
So we gotta like come up with some like nickname for Santi though, because if he balances the ball on his nose, it's like one of those seals in a circus kind of thing. Santi the seal.
Seriously, if you haven't, go back and watch the highlight of this goal. It's not just about he plays it off of his nose onto his foot. It's an assist. It's a second assist from his nose. Thad, his nose got an MLS assist on that play. It's a very purposeful, intentional thing he did. And actually, there's one angle of it where you're looking at his face, and I even think he kind of blows. Like the ball's in front of his face, in front of his mouth, and I think he even goes to try to get it away. It's so good. I love that play so much. This team is so much fun. We know it's not these guys' fault that the players on the roster are not at the top of Major League Soccer, but these are the guys we have. These are the guys that put on our badge that we love so much and represent the team every week, and they're doing it exactly as good as we could have hoped.
Yeah, I mean, because the team has been so bad, maybe we were also just being a little quicker to love them, but I do actually like these guys. I like Santi, man. He was like, you talk to him about anything? Yes, I just love it here. I'm happy. I went to go eat someplace. It was great and all that stuff. And I asked him last night, I think I got like one of the last questions in, and I said, so does this place feel like home? He goes, I've only played here twice, but yes.
I want to say that I was not loving that game last night up until the 90th minute. Yeah. So
It was shades of old Sporting Kansas City when we actually did think that the team was good and they would dominate a game and they'd be right there and just couldn't get it.
I texted someone, I said, I'm getting real tired of chanting right now. And it was like the 70th minute.
Yeah, it really started to feel emblematic, like just symbolic of the whole season where this team is there. Like there are good players on this team, but we know they're not quite there yet. And that's why the ball's just going off the post for Shoppy. And just that final pass we get to this play where there's 3 final passes that could be made and they just barely choose the wrong one. It just felt like the margins are so thin in this league. And I was just winding it off, just felt so emblematic of exactly where this team is. And then what they do in the second half, but they just showed me that they were gritty and that they're here to fight and that they're still fighting for Carrie Zavagnin. And this is going to be a fun year. This is honestly everything we could have hoped for after the firing of Peter Vermees and the rebuild as it's continuing. We had a 17-year-old get their debut in this game. We're going to talk about that in the second segment. There's just everything I could have hoped for. They're giving me fun things. They're giving me comeback wins. Carrie, I am all the way back in on this team. I don't care all the problems with the front office. I'm still have my issues with all of that, but I can have fun watching this team again. I've listened back to some of these episodes. The number of times, Carrie, that we have said, this is fun again, I don't even care. It might sound stupid to someone listening, but I legitimately realized that it was not that fun to be doing all of this and the grind of doing this content and talking about this bad team and finding a fun way to do it. Now it is all fun again. There are guys on this team that are putting it all on the line, and these are the guys. This is Sporting Kansas City again, and I'm loving it.
We talk about that spark that we get so often. That's like we're just flatlining with Sporting, and then we get a spark. And we're like, oh my god, this is amazing, guys! Like how do we not have this before? and then we flatline for a long time again, and then we get that spark again.
But that's because we love this team, because we're good fans, because there's good sport fans in Kansas City, and that's all we really ask for, is a team a club that shows they're trying to do something in the right direction, and players on the field that are going to put it all on the line. And we had Joveljic go off the field. We had Manu looking like he was coming from battle. There was just so much from this game. I love this. And like I said, we were going to talk about the Big Bear. We were talking about all the goals being scored, all the offensive chances and all of this. He kept us in this game, Thad. There were massive saves in this game.
There was, and he was even asked a question and responded about how he thinks he's really good at stopping one-on-ones, and you know what? He's right.
He is. The Big Bear, I'm telling you, people know he is big and intimidating as he's pouncing out. And one little thing I noticed, there was one-on-one that he had that he comes out with such force that even after hitting this ball, stopping the ball and kind of having the collision with the player, he still kind of falls forward. Because this dude is just all in on every play. You can see it on his face. Every goal that goes in, it's the worst thing that has ever happened to this guy. And he just wears it all on his sleeves. And seriously, go back and watch this play. He makes this save, a great one-on-one save in open field. And he even falls forward after that. And it just you can just viscerally feel how eager and strong he's going for all of this, how much he commits to all of this. He's the guy that we were hoping he was going to be. He's the guy that we need this year. He's keeping them in the games, and he is everything but a tree, Thad.
Not arboreal at all.
Not arboreal. Hashtag not arboreal.
Meaning tree-like, in case anybody didn't know.
So we've talked about it a little bit. I do want to mention KZ, because this team is starting to develop a knack for fighting back. And a knock on Peter Vermees, Thad, for many years was that people would say that he didn't change tactics in a game, that he wasn't adaptable. And now all of a sudden this team is showing qualities of, that was not working in the first half, and that they find something, Carey is saying something, that is working in halftime, and they're coming back and getting results.
I think Peter often didn't get the fair thought about that, because he did change tactics, but I don't feel like he changed tactics at halftime as much as he could have. A lot of credit I will give to Carey is he's trying maybe multiple things in the second half. This doesn't work, that doesn't work, doing something else. But he's also making those subs, because everybody would always complain about Peter not making enough subs. Sometimes that was true, sometimes it wasn't. But sometimes he didn't have the guys on the bench. He didn't have Muñoz to come in and make a difference. He didn't have, the Shoppy or Tommy switching out at halftime to do something different. He didn't always have that. Not that this team is like super deep at the moment, but it is at least that much deeper. So,
yeah, that's a valid point. I'm
not trying to diminish your happiness with Carey, Zavagnin.
Carrie's getting people shouting at her on the street now. Carey, not Carey. That's her name. Also, Is anyone else like me? Anyone else listening to this? I'm always looking for her boyfriend in the cowboy hat, and then looking for Carey in all of the broadcasts, because they've become famous in these broadcasts now.
And just in the stadium. I mean, he was pouring a water bottle on him during the hydration break. That was up on
fed to him.
Big screen.
That was fed to him by the team. That's how much of a celebrity he is. It's like, it's now we got to find something for the guy in the cowboy hat. So I'm always looking for you, Carey.
Yeah, and I'm on the far end of the field, and I'm just like, looking down at the other end, and I'm like, oh, there's the guy in the cowboy hat. So, like Carey's gonna be
one over. And Thad got a great photo of Drew in the cauldron pouring a beer from the capo stand into Isaac's mouth.
Nice. Okay, we've been going. All right, this is almost 30 minutes here. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Sports are all about teamwork, and so is insurance. Whether you need an in-person or digital assist, State Farm is there to help you choose the right coverage for your home, car, and more. Get a game plan that helps fit your life and talk to State Farm today. State Farm with the Assist. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability and eligibility vary by state.
This episode is brought to you by Polestar. There's only one true way to experience the all-electric luxury SUV Polestar 3, and that's to take a test drive. It can go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds with the dynamic handling of a sports car. But to truly understand how it commands the road, you need to be behind the wheel. Up to 350 miles of range, the 3D surround sound system by Bowers & Wilkins. It's all something you have to experience to believe. So book your test drive for Polestar 3 today at polestar.com.
Have you ever spotted McDonald's hot, crispy fries right as they're being scooped into the carton? And time just stands still. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
All right. Last week, maybe not last week, whenever that was, the last podcast that we did. Yeah, sorry about that. Missed it on the weekend. Short turnaround. You know, here we are on Thursday. I apologize for not having one for you on Monday. Here is one for you on Friday morning. Anyway, the last time we did a podcast, I was talking to David about Shopee. David was giving me some very good points about the expected goals, expected assists of Shopee. And I was trying desperately and failing to say that Shopee does do things that work. And there was an exact play in this game. Shopee did do a lot. He had the ball off the post. He looked good, looked dangerous a lot of the game. But there was one that he created, one of the best opportunities of the game, that didn't even result in being a shot on goal. And so this is one of those moments that I'm saying that he does have an impact and that he is doing more than that expected goals or expected assists would show. And this was a play, I'm sure many of you remember it. He played in through 3 different defenders, played in Jake Davis, who took a touch to the goal line and then played it across the face of the goal. It was blocked. So that doesn't go for Shopee as an expected goal. It doesn't go in for him as an expected assist. He didn't create a big opportunity. And so there are moments that Shopee is contributing to this team, and we were waiting before we knew how much we can judge how good this edition of Shopee was until the salaries came out. And so I do want to talk about that a little bit later, but there's more of this game that I want to get to. It was the first goal from Mason Toy. He got out there. Carrie must be loving this. Her name in the chat here is Toy Story. Coolly, calmly taken from Mason Toy. His first goal for the team. Doesn't get a lot of minutes, but got that ball in a beautiful spot and just calmly put it home.
How many appearances has he had? Do we know?
I think that was 3.
Okay.
I looked earlier, if I'm remembering correctly. I think that was just his 3rd, maybe his 4th. But also, he's bigger than I was giving him credit for. Thad. He's kind of a big dude.
He's very tall.
He is.
I'm liking him. It was one of those. He put it home, calm, cool, and collected, and it was just like, all right, boys, let's go. Let's go. He was doing the wave. Pick that ball up. Let's restart. Let's go get this win. And friend of the pod, Chris Whittingham, was calling this game, and he said right when and I'm sure all of you were thinking it, when they tied that game, it was like, well, shit, they've had all the opportunities. Let's go get this win. Chris Whittingham was feeling it too. He said it. Well, then why not? Let's go get this win. And that's what they went and did. And Thad, they also brought in 17-year-old Ian James, making his Sporting KC debut. And he also he was in there for like 30 seconds and was called upon multiple times.
Yeah. So, Mike Stat.
Yes.
Mike Stat. At 17 years, 19 days, Ian James became the 2nd youngest player to appear in a league game for Sporting KC.
The 2nd youngest. It's going to be hard to beat Busio. It'll be many years before Busio gets beaten on that one. Wow. So 17, how old? 17 years and how many days?
19 days.
Wow.
So
just turned 17. Birthday.
Yeah. And so I know we will talk more about the next game coming up, but he'll probably be a likely starter this game.
Will he? That's a big kid, man. That's a big 17-year-old.
Yeah, he's got the size and he's got the ability. He just needs the experience. So yeah, he'll probably make some mistakes and all that good stuff. But Joaquin Fernandez is carded out because he got a yellow card in this last game, and he should be suspended for the next game if the stats were all right that I saw. So he might be out. So it might be the veteran Jansen Miller leading the center back core of him and Ian James.
Oh my God. If I would have told you at the beginning of this year that we were going to have to be facing RSL with two basically rookies, I guess not basically, two rookies in center back, how would you have felt about that?
Interested. Okay. Like why? But I want
to everyone else. Yeah.
Yes. Injuries and everything else. And maybe Rosero maybe Rosero will be back, but he can't play a full 45, I'm sure, right?
Okay, so that's a good point. We probably will see Ian James again. Good.
Yeah, if he doesn't start, I'm sure he'll at least get some time because of the just shorthanded amount of people. Okay, so completely unrelated to this and not on the rundown in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not a numerologist, but looking at the defensive core last night, so the back line and the D-mid, number 15, number 16, number 17, and number 18 were all playing the defensive group and all young.
Oh,
Miller, Davis, Bartlett, and Ndembe.
And all those weird numbers that you never, like all the weird numbers of backup players.
Yeah. So again, it just was like a little trivia thing. It hits my mind. And I was like 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, cool.
How is Ndembe the oldest of that group?
I know. and by far the most experienced. But
yeah.
Look at that. All of a sudden, so look, if you just zoom in on certain spots, then Sporting Kansas City is a young team, Carrie.
They are still a young team.
Compared to last season, for sure.
Yeah.
But whenever Ian James came in, and I hate to mention Wilfred Zaha, man, that guy, I was like, you're getting beat up by like a 17-year-old.
How was he still on the field? Are you kidding me? The dude squared up with a referee and was jumping at him, flinching at him. Like, on what planet does that guy not get a second yellow card and sent off the field? Get off my field after doing that.
I had the perfect angle for that to see the head movement. It was like, I felt like it was like, it couldn't have been a better angle just to see that last jump.
It was the last jump. Thank you for saying that, Carrie. The last one. Because he had done a couple, and it's like, all right, heat of the moment. He's already on a yellow. You've gotten some leeway. And now you're 2 inches from his face, and then you do it again while screaming at him. It makes absolutely no sense that guy was still on the field.
But
it makes no sense.
fun.
He's still roughing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And does anyone? This might be too niche of a reference here. This is for 5 people listening. But that referee looked exactly like the guy from the movie Euro Trip. There were the twins, the guy and the girl twin in that movie, and he was the little dweeby guy with the fanny pack and the nerd in this movie. He looks exactly like him, and that ref has no business being on a Major League Soccer field.
That is him.
My sister thought that he looked like Pilot Pete from The Bachelor.
Okay, see, there you go. Just a different niche that joke was for. That was just the other 5 people that were listening to the show. There we go. We're covering all of our bases there.
All right, so I'll go the other direction. Is he was the ref when Sporting played St. Louis, and they were not calling second yellows against St. Louis players. And if I understand correctly, he may have come back at some point later and apologized for it.
Oh, that's that guy. So he's nervous. He's a little nervous with those second yellows. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. Again, that's a little bit of a rumor there, but it was I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So,
no, shout out to James. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to jump over that and I will say it was very fun to yell Palace reject for half the night.
Yeah, That's what I was gonna say. Shout out to Jansen Miller. Like that's a Premier League player right there. I don't know that he was necessarily a reject from that team. Like he played there many years, scored many goals.
Let us have it. Let us have it.
But still, you gotta chant. Yeah, like chant that for sure.
There was a time in the college. He was definitely getting very upset with the college too.
Oh, he was pissed.
But there was definitely a time whenever we said, let's pretend we scored a goal. Yay. So if we're doing that at like the 80th minutes, waiting for that comeback, then we're definitely yelling Palace reject.
No, that's a good player. Big dude. Jansen Miller did really well. Can't believe it that Jansen Miller is just all of a sudden a stalwart center back for Sporting Kansas City.
Yeah, there's a lot of plays where you'll see him actually get beat initially, but he'll stay with it, and get a foot in there and knock the ball away, or just knock the guy off balance. And Jansen's becoming one of my favorite players just because of how hard he works at everything, and because he's also the little partial semi-villain, and because he hates his hometown and the team, not the whole hometown, but.
Hey, there's another quote from him. He said that whenever he got drafted, his parents canceled their season tickets to St. Louis City.
Hell yeah. You described exactly one of those plays he had on Zaha, where Zaha was played into space. And there's a characteristic of center backs. Center backs are never faster than the striker that they're trying to chase down, right? Like they're almost never is that the case. There are the best center backs in the world may have some speed, but they're pretty much always slower than that crazy winger that they're trying to run down. And there's a characteristic of doing it anyway, of when you're running next to the guy, you get that arm in front of him, you get the leverage, you stay in front of him, you can make yourself faster in other ways when there's a bit of a grapple there. And Jansen Miller did that perfectly. There was one wide open play. He did that running next to Zaha, got himself in front of him, put his body weight in front of him, and went down and got the foul. And so, Jansen is showing me everything that we could possibly need to be seeing right now.
Yeah, he's playing so well, and still learning. I'm really happy with Jansen, man. He's a player we can use for a long time.
And that's really the goal of a rebuild season, and that's all you can ask for. So let's look ahead here. Saturday, quick turnaround. This is tomorrow for everyone listening to this podcast. RSL's coming back in town. They beat DC United last weekend, 2-0. They didn't play midweek, so they'll have a bit more rest than Sporting KC, but that win last weekend was their first win in 7 matches. It is, of course, the return of William Agata and Johnny Russell. Willie Agata is their starting striker. He has started their last 5 games. That man is their starting striker.
So knowing, like we talked earlier, that they may not have Joaquin, or it looks like they won't have Joaquin, maybe they'll start Ian James, maybe they'll do some other shuffle, maybe Kyrie Shelton will come in there, maybe they'll drop Bartlett back, but then who plays the 6? I don't know what they're going to do, but I do have a strategy is we just leave William Agata alone. Let him be free.
Just let it happen. I knew that's where you were going.
And just try to limit the passes to him, but just let him be free. If he scores 1 off of that, man, out of 17 tries, and we can block everybody else, we can get something on the other end, and they'll get a result. So maybe that's what we just need to do.
Exactly. Let Will. We can give Willie 15 putbacks, and he might get one of them. But if we've got Jovalic and Muñoz on the field together, then we can get 2.
And what I really hope to see is Jake Davis take out Johnny Russell. Not take out as in hurting, take him down and get a squared off moment.
Gary, how does that make you feel?
No, let's see a Shoppy go up against Johnny Russell.
Ooh, she's right about that. Makes a little more sense.
I just like to see the mentor versus, the mentee, the old guy, the young guy, JFR, JFD. But, Shoppy getting kind of pissed off and climbing up his mustache to give him a little tweak on the nose might be kind of fun.
I'm so excited to give Johnny shit in the cauldron.
Oh.
I got the chance going. One of them includes the wall. It's all good.
It's gonna be good to see Johnny back here. Yeah, he'll be received very well, I'm sure.
Yeah, and again, a lot of love for Johnny. All that he gave for the club, and he gave a lot And
exactly what Carrie just said. Johnny knows how this works. He knows he's going to get razzed a little bit from the cauldron.
Yes.
He's going to be expecting it. It's going to be all in good fun. And respect to Johnny and everything he did for us. Going to be a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my chant comes in.
Yeah. Win a cup, get on the wall.
Yeah, what is the chant? And see, that's a thing. I've seen this. You see this come up in the Sporting Kansas City subreddit every now and then. Which, little story on that we're going to talk about here in a second. But that comes up on people are trying to get a chant started. Carrie, who starts a chant? How does someone begin a new chant? Because there is a resounding lack of them in the cauldron as of late.
We're trying. Okay, the most recent one that we've gotten is Big Dick John after a really good save.
I heard that one.
Usually it's three of us starting that. Let's see. The chant that I have is Matt's on the wall. Matt's on the wall. Johnny Russell. You'll never sing that.
There you go. I like it. See, that's a European chant right there. You don't need something complicated. It just has to be repetitive and in a certain tune that everyone can sing.
Barbecue.
And insulting.
Oh, that's to the barbecue chant. Oh, okay.
No, it's not.
Oh.
I was just saying that, simple.
That is our most European chant. And it is also the most Kansas Cityan at the same time. That's my favorite one. Yeah, that's right. We mentioned the foul mouth fans on Reddit and all of that. Carrie, there was a article that got sent to Josh. I don't know how. I don't think anyone else in MLS media was really talking about this, but Josh Wallace got sent an article.
Juan Cisneros.
Yeah, Juan got sent a thing from like a work colleague. So this was in some other publication that was out there that looked at the comments on the subreddit of MLS teams. And it's hilarious to me that they picked 2025 to do this because we've had just a tale of two halves on angry and hateful and the worst fans you could think of. And then also just like the happiest, like happy to be here, we don't suck fans. So, Carrie, how did this all turn out? What does the Sporting Kansas City subreddit look like in the realm of Major League Soccer?
I don't know. It's scary. I don't go on there, but I did read the article. So it's for Reddit. It kind of breaks down how many comments they took into consideration. So I think for Sportings, they have it broken down. I just have screenshots of some things. But I think there was 21,000 comments that they took into consideration. Of those, 4.94% had a curse word in it, which ranks third in all of MLS.
Oh, okay. That sounds a little better than I would have thought.
No, we use it the most.
Well, I know, but just 5%.
Oh, okay.
Just under.
I was expecting more, 30%. Man.
Under 5% have a cuss word. That's astounding to me.
We're the first one that's under 5%. So Orlando City's at first at 5.7%. LA Galaxy is at 5.18%.
Okay, so those both make sense. Florida Man for Orlando, and then just the Galaxy is in the worst state the club's ever been in.
Yes. Montreal is in last at 1.64%.
So they're in first, technically. They have the nicest fans, is what that would seem to be.
They're Canadian.
Did they take into account French curse words, maybe?
That's true.
I don't know about that one, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. They're not counting all of the ways that French people swear.
For anyone interested in St. Louis is at 21 with 3.64%.
Okay, so they're still seemingly just happy to be there. They've tried to fire their coach three times since the inception of the team, but they're doing it politely without cuss words, apparently.
Yeah, and then it also goes into Major League Soccer most negative fandoms and most positive fandoms. So negative fandoms, Sporting KC ranks 9.
Okay.
And so 24.75% are deemed negative comments towards the team. But then if you look at the positive side, we are 51.73. So fourth place.
Okay.
So we are somewhat still the most negative, but also the most positive fans.
Yes.
Which sums up 2025.
We're hyperbolic. The Kansas City sport fan is hyperbolic.
Schizophrenic.
RSL. RSL is somehow in first place for most positive.
Wow.
Which I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I guess the Mormons are timid on Reddit.
Yeah.
They can't have their name seen or their ID.
Yeah, it's all burners.
Well, so you said they were ranked 9th on the negative. That's about where they are in the table. So, or that's where we think that they should fit, at least if we're looking at their current form.
9th negative for Sporting in the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's a very weird like article. So it's like
It
up
is.
And again, it's just Reddit, so
yeah.
Reddit's
And
not
the
real
worst
life.
the worst of the worst.
And I don't know how you judge the positive versus negative. I don't know, but
It's so weird. I don't disagree with you when you say the worst of the worst on Reddit, but also in my head, Reddit is the best of social media at the same time.
I was about to say that as well.
So I don't know. It's weird how that works.
it's a tale of two social medias. What? I don't know.
Like the Sporting Kansas City fan base as well.
Yeah, and like the St. Louis fan base, because you still. It's funny because I'm on a couple of their Facebook pages, and just out of curiosity to keep an eye on it and kind of laugh. But there'll be people like, "Oh yeah, you got to be positive," da da da, and and people going, I told you we should never have fired the first guy," and it's just always going back and forth, and this guy should never ever play, and then another one like that's the best player we have on the team, and we get some of that same stuff. So it's
despite having the least amount of curse words, Montreal is also the least positive team, but also the least negative team. So
all right, it sounds like this whole study it was inconclusive. That should have been the headline from this study, is that it's inconclusive and doesn't make any sense.
no, because Atlanta is the most negative, but also the least positive. So there's some truth to it.
Yeah. Montreal's just bland. Like, oh, we have a team. Oh, we have a team. Oh, we have a team. Like, I mean, that must be what it is, right?
They get
Least
angry
positive.
when they rebrand, and then they forget they have a team.
Yeah, that probably has the most impact on it.
All right, Lady Yanks just wrapped up the 4-0 win over Ireland, and we are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to help you make the most of your summer with Michelob Ultra, a superior light beer worth playing for. Play for it with the guys when you're competing to see who can sink more birdies on the golf course, because winning tastes even better with Ultra on the line. Play for Ultra. Fill your fridge with Michelob Ultra this summer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's the Smucker's Uncrustables podcast with your host, Uncrustables. Okay, today's guest is rough around the edges. Please welcome Crust.
Thanks for having me.
Today's topic, he's round with soft, pillowy bread.
Hey.
Filled with delicious PB&J.
Are you talking about yourself?
And you can take him anywhere.
Why'd you invite?
And we are out of time.
Are you really cutting me off?
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich. Sorry, Crust.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
Through the Starbucks College Achievement Plan, full and part-time Starbucks baristas receive 100% upfront college tuition coverage so they can focus on achieving their dreams, not how they'll pay for school. And those dreams might start with a degree in management, biochemistry, or any of the more than 150 offered. At Starbucks, benefits like college tuition coverage are just the start. Learn more at starbucks.com/partners.
All right, just a reminder, the KC Current and NWSL are off until August. Nothing for them until deep into August. Well, I guess no league game, no league home game till like deep into August. But There is that. What's the name of that competition that they're playing in? What are we calling this made-up thing that they're doing?
Teal Rising Cup.
The Teal Oh, wow. So it really is just organized by them.
It really is just organized by the Current.
Okay. And they're playing, it's the Palmeiras game on July 12th, and that's the media game, Thad.
Yeah, I won't be there.
No?
No, Sporting's playing. It's the night that they recognize the 2000 team.
Damn it.
Also a night they recognize the 30-year season ticket holders.
Damn it.
And it's, I forget which team it is they're playing, but it's a game that really matters. Not
Seattle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Seattle game. That's right.
So I won't be playing or even pretending to play in that game.
Well,
That's okay.
I don't miss a media game, so I'll be there.
It is my
You
first
gotta have your
media
glory.
game.
You are going to play, Carrie?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hell yes. I love that. Do you play? Have you played? Are you a player?
No.
No.
I refed intramurals in college. That's about it.
Okay, Carrie, what is your sporting repertoire? Have you ever played any sport at all?
I mean, I guess I played like the elementary school soccer.
Okay.
But
Well, you played soccer then. That's
Yeah, I
what
played
most.
soccer.
Yeah, okay, you played soccer. Okay.
Badminton, anything like that?
no. I do sand volleyball, just for fun now.
Where?
I've done it at Berkeley a few times, but currently I'm out in a league at Shawnee Mission.
Oh yeah, Shawnee Mission Beach Volleyball, way out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that one or Martin City Volleyball Beach. I play.
Cody has this like weary, like, oh yeah, sand volleyball. I've played there and there. He has that like war weary volleyball sand beach dude sound.
You absolutely nailed that. I was reminiscing on the because Shawnee it still stinks there, doesn't it, Carrie? There's a dump like right there, and it smells like trash all of the time at Shawnee Mission Beach Volleyball.
Not that I've noticed. And I also went to Shawnee Mission Beach, like whatever it's called, and it was fine too.
Well, it stinks there.
But yeah, actually, whenever, so growing up and doing soccer in elementary school, Kurt Austin reffed me.
Oh, really? How do you know that?
Because my dad and him would talk about sporting. My dad was the coach. He coached like 3 teams at a time.
Shout out to Kurt. I think Kurt listens to this show every now and then.
Well, I know some of the guys do.
I don't know if he recognizes me, but
Carrie, speaking of the national team, what is this? I see you have the sash jersey on. What is the jersey that you're wearing?
I don't know what year this is.
It's the blue with the white sash across it. It's a classic one, and I always love that jersey. Who's on the back of it?
No one. I got it for $10 at a flea market at River Market.
What a find!
I know. I had to get it.
The sash jersey has always been great. Always love that one. Okay, so I guess we still didn't really talk about the KC Current there. 6 straight wins last weekend, last Friday. They beat Angel City 1-0. They're now 8 points clear atop the league. Thad, I saw you guys just released an episode of Keeping Current.
Yep. Daniel Sperry and Carrie.
So go check that out. Do you guys talk about the Women's Euro or the Copa Americana Femenina at all in that?
No, we did talk about the U.S. national team, but
we don't have any players in either of those tournaments, so don't care.
Wow, I thought maybe you supported women's soccer and women's sports, Carrie. What was I thinking?
Or maybe she's a Kansas City fan.
Yeah. I'll put it on if I'm working from home and I need something to like keep me busy in the background.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the MLS Salaries finally came out is where we're going to end this show. I was hoping to have David. I was hoping to have a little more voices here on all the opinions on all of this because there is, of course, plenty to talk about. But what jumped out at you, Thad? What have you seen from these salaries that jumped out at you?
I don't know that it jumped out as much, but I was really waiting to find out like how much the new players were making. You know, Dayon, Manu, Shoppy, especially because Shoppy I think he's a good player, but it all comes down to how much is he making. And so Dayon, guaranteed compensation for Dayon is $3.3 million and some change. For Manu, it's $2.3 million and some change. And for Shoppy, it's $900,000 and some change.
So 3.3 for our talisman. That seems about right.
Yeah, I'm quite fine with that. I mean, he's 11 goals in.
That's a discount.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Manu, I think, is still trying to find his way, but I mean, he's found his way now, and he's used to the league and used to getting elbowed, but he is kind of elbow height, so that's a little bit normal.
That's so true. That's so true. His forehead was right at elbow height.
Yeah, I mean, you got some of those 6'4" guys with pointy elbows. Manu's going to take some cuts. That's. I don't know. I just wonder if we should get like a cut man and like, the old Rocky boxing things. They can run out with the Vaseline or something.
So, yeah, you mentioned Shoppy there at, what was it, that 800, 900?
Yeah, 800 base and 915 guaranteed.
So that was a talking point. Me and David were arguing about that. And apparently, Carrie, are there other people that are Shoppy haters, or is this just David?
No, there's other people. So my friend Josh, part of Off to See the Wizards, he was getting a flight to Portugal, but he was still watching the game somehow. And every time, whenever we're watching a game in person and Shoppy does something wrong, he looks at me and pretends to write something in a notebook. And so he's like, I don't know, it's like 4 a.m. for him. And he texts me, he said, I'm jotting that down after Shoppy had whiffed a ball or whatever.
Yeah, Shoppy shanked one. Although Daniel had 2 other passes that he could have made on that play, and I think
that one was on Daniel.
He made it on. Yeah, he could have shot it, or he had an easier pass too. Yeah, there were a couple of those. Tommy had a couple. He was a little bit of the carry the thing we taught. He's chicken run around with his head cut off a little bit in that game. Took a rip off one from outside the box, and Joveljic was just there waiting for an easy layoff to him for a goal. This one was, I guess we didn't really talk about that on air. This was kind of a frustrating one for Joveljic. You could tell that it was on his face that.
Oh yeah, he even mentioned afterwards, like, yeah, I should have gotten a couple passes in the first half. He was like, pass to me, man, and he was annoyed that it went to Shoppy, not him.
You can see it. You don't love it when a player does that, but you want your striker to want the ball and want the goals and all of that. So there were a couple times put the hands up in the air. You saw he was like, Daniel, what the hell are you doing on that one? There were a couple.
If I got that look that he gave Daniel, because it was right in front of me, I would be so scared.
I would have asked to be subbed out. I know the exact moment you're talking. I saw that look and I was like, oh my God, I would crawl up into a shell if I was Daniel Shallowy. I would feel so
like
bad.
I'm not talking to him after the game. I'm not talking to him for like a week, honestly.
Yeah, I'm buying him flowers or something. I'm buying him a thing and then being like, I apologize. I'm sorry.
I'm only passing him the ball at practice.
Yeah.
No one else.
Okay, okay, 900,000 for Shoppy. Not maybe a little more than what we had thought of they just took a flyer off of him for in addition to getting Manu with the team from Greece. But he's a starting attacking player in Major League Soccer for less than $1 million. He represents the badge well. He's gritty. He fights against our rivals. I'm good with this. It may be a little more than I would have just thought based on what the small amount of knowledge we had about the signing. But I think this is good for 900,000.
I think it's all right. I mean, and he's a starter, at least part-time, because he's been splitting that with Tommy a lot.
Well, and I'm sorry to cut you off there, but if you look at, that's kind of why I'm okay with this, because if you look at his counterpart in Tommy, he's making almost half of what Tommy's making.
Yeah, and that's when I listed off players earlier, it was first, second, and when I got to Shoppy, it's like 7th down the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th down the line of cost for the team. And a lot of those people in between there don't need to be back.
Right.
So he's not out of the price range, I think. And if you look also at the guys making more than him, like Tommy, I did a couple days ago. I didn't after last night. I didn't think about it, but they're the same amount of goals and assists. I mean, same sort of thing. So for guys who are higher priced, it's cool.
He's also making less than half what Manu is, and they came together. So
yeah,
it's again, we don't know how that deal happened, but
or if there's a transfer, sometimes the first year on a player's contract, Shopee could have some value of a transfer fee built in there, I suppose.
Well, the transfer fee should not be in that cost. However, signing bonuses you can front load a contract. So that, I mean, a couple of years ago, like Tommy made a lot in the first year contract, and then dropped down lower. I think the same with Johnny, and he was a DP, easily a DP, and then he dropped to below DP. So you never know exactly how that works. So you really got to look at multiple years for that and see what their total contract really is.
Is this the same? Are we on contract number 2 for Tommy?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. And yeah, I think you're right. The first year he was here, I think he was, well over 600,000. I think it was 600,000 plus.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure now, but
DP, I think, doesn't it have to be 600 or is it?
Well, DP is like 750,
okay.
Somewhere around 750. The exact number I forget, but I just need to look a little higher on this page and I'd find it. Because again, we always, as soon as the salaries come out, one of us gets a thing out about it. So Chad got one out like 3 or 4 hours after the thing came out. So you can go there to KC Soccer Journal and see all the value there and a lot of the basic rules and stuff around it. So Chad always does a good job with that.
Anything else around Major League Soccer? Something notable? Who's making more than they should? Who's making less?
I have team totals. So of the top 5 teams, Inter Miami, Toronto, Atlanta, FC Cincinnati, LA Galaxy, only 2 of those teams are in playoff position.
Wow. Parity, Thad. I feel like Don Garber sees that and he likes that, right?
Yeah. Inter Miami, 46.8 million. CF Montreal, 11.9 million. Oh, maybe that's why they have a lot of complaints.
But also so many positive comments too.
Yeah, so I don't know. And a lot in between, but Miami was the highest there.
So I don't have that stat in front of me, but Messi is guaranteed at 20.4 million.
Yes.
And that number is more than a certain number of Major League Soccer teams as a whole. I'm just not seeing that number in front of me.
Yeah, it's also 43.7% of the entire Miami budget. So
okay, good stat there. Okay, so under half is on Messi. I would have believed that it was more than that, honestly.
It's pretty darn close.
Yeah.
But Insigne for Toronto, he's making 15.4 million, and that's 45.1% of their.
Oh
their
wow!
salary.
So Messi's not even the highest. Interesting.
Yeah. And I was looking to see if anybody was even higher than those guys, but I don't think so. So yeah, those are the 2 highest.
Toronto was the worst tail on this end last year, right? They were one of the highest or second highest and finished almost last in the league. Yeah, they've got a couple contracts on there still hurting them.
They do, and I'm quite good with that.
Did you guys see the details of Cristiano Ronaldo's new contract? He just signed a new one in Saudi Arabia, and it includes. There were just an insane number of things on it. There's the base salary is record setting, most whatever, but then there were all of these things in there. The club is hiring 13 full-time employees just for him, and it just sounds like staff for a mansion. It's gardeners and drivers and chefs and things like that. It is just insane. This contract. Go look up all of the perks and everything that comes along with this. You can see why he decided to stay another 2 years in that country.
Do you guys remember what Alan Pluto's salary was last year? Does 2.6 sound right? Because
I feel like we just looked this up recently on here.
So there's a salarysport.com looks like a bunch of salaries for literally
3.87 million in 2024.
Okay, so Salary Sport has every sport, every team listed, football, basketball, golf, everything salary-wise. So I looked at Sporting's. It has it says 2025 wages. I assume it's last year. Alan Plato at 2.6 million. If you go to Aris, it had, I lost it.
So what you're getting at is that Jovalic is making less than Polito last year, right?
Yes. This has Manu at just over 1 million from last year.
Oh, wow.
And it has Shoppy at 250,000. I don't know if this.
Yeah, 2.3 for Manu. That seems like crazy value.
Yeah. Don't know if this website's right. Again, it has basketball, it has motorsport, tennis, cricket, everything. But you click on soccer and it has every single league out there. So take that as you will. I don't know.
I never 100% believe these salary reports anyway, though, I'll be honest. Because MLS Players Association will always have a motive of like how they want to portray things. And of course the league will too. So everybody has their own spin on how they want to portray these things. Because at one point they wanted to show how high certain players were, and how low certain players were, so that they could get pay raises, which were legit. I'm not saying they weren't, but it's always with a little bit of agenda in there. And I've been told many times that the salary that they report is not the salary that players get exactly. So,
yeah. Well, what's reported on here, Daniel Shalhoub is the same or 90,000 less than Nemanja Radoja. Said his name wrong again.
But if you go down that list, you got Tommy at 1.5, Radia at 1.3, Daniel at 1.3, Fernandez at $1 million, Leibold at 925,000.
Yeah, Leibold is one that stands out to me of like, whoops.
Fernandez was one that stood out to me, but that's just because I was going through all of our injured center backs to see how much money we have injured. So $1 million for that own goal.
I mean, I don't know. $1 million taking a swing at a center back, and I don't know. He hasn't been terrible.
Well, when he can play over half of a game, which has been not enough. Rosero at 530,000, and all of those guys are out of contract. Like, so there's like $5+ million of regular salary cap that is becoming available.
Man, didn't Danny Rosero make more than that last year? Nope. He was right at 500,000 last year as well.
Maybe I haven't been on Reddit to see all the negativity, but one that I've not seen called out as much was Kyrie Shelton.
Yeah.
It's always one that's everyone's like, why is he making this much money? I've not seen one word about that.
Well, because it was not a surprise this time. Like, we saw it last year.
No, that's fair, but it's just kind of, I don't know.
It is.
There's always going to be haters for him, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Kyrie Shelton.
Happy birthday, Kyrie. He is listed at $25K more. He got 25,000 more this year.
In the contract, so I mean, it's not like he got it because of a performance thing.
Right.
Mason Toy, 350,000 base, 392,000 guaranteed, and he has.
I think that's
played
good for him.
Well, I mean, it's good considering what he just did. Yes, but he's been in 6 matches for 35 minutes with 1 goal, so he has a 2.57 goals per 90 minutes.
Yeah.
He's not going to match that the rest of the season. But.
I mean, I thought when you started that, excuse me, sorry. When you started that, I thought you were going. That's like, well, he's not playing, it's not worth it. But yeah, I mean, I think 300,000 on your third string striker, that just almost has to happen. Not that we're competing this year, but if you want to compete, you have to have. You know, if one guy goes down, you got to have somebody that knows how to score goals, and you can't do it on somebody who's making $80,000.
Well, I'm going to go 2 ways with this, but first of all, when he was signed, he was the striker, because that was when they sold Polito. They didn't have Jovalic yet.
Maybe they knew.
Maybe, but I think a lot of that happened pretty quickly after that. And they definitely did not have Santiago at that point. So
right.
He was the only striker they had for a little bit. So it was pretty much a go get somebody, even if we have to overpay him a little bit for what he ends up playing. But he would have been playing a lot if they had not got Jovic. And then speaking of 80,000, Ian James, Jacob Bartlett, Jack Kortkamp, Jansen Miller, and Ryan Sheway are all in the 80,000s, but that's also because homegrowns, rookies, supplemental roster, all the type of rules that play into that. But
yeah,
great value for Jansen Miller and Jacob Bartlett.
Yes, absolutely. Those are two regular starting players, two of them for $160,000 total.
Yeah, which don't count against the budget. Basong, 100,000, 114,000 for guaranteed.
Oh, that's good value there. I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah.
Good shout for Basong.
I kind of missed him during the game
Mm-hmm.
this week, which I was thinking to myself, I said, that's such a weird thought to have, Carrie.
It is. Memo came in and was kind of like trying to do that role.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, when Memo came in, I was like, well, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way, but he did play better than he did the
He was
previous couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I will
He had
also
a very rough game, so that's on everyone's mind.
He was eager.
Yeah. And I have to confess, man, when Toy came in, I was like, I just didn't have any faith that he would do anything, and then he just friggin' proved me so damn wrong, and I'm happy for it.
I had mentioned like a month or two back that when Sporting KC had like season ticket meet and greet with the players after that Portland game, I said that Mason Toy had no one in his line, and so after my sister went to go talk Spanish with the Spanish players, she was like, let's go get an autograph and a picture with him.
Oh, good.
Everyone's gonna know his name now. Everyone's gonna know him.
Yeah, and I think you and your off to see the Wizards crew should do a Toy Story theme for him.
Ooh, that's good.
You could be Jesse and huh?
I said they have a chance. You got a friend in me.
Oh yeah.
To Mason Toy.
Yeah.
I would try it, but I tried yesterday and I butchered it because there was only one other off to see the Wizard. We were missing our third one, so.
That would have been critical mass. You could have gotten the entire cauldron going if you only had 3 of you.
I know.
On that note of Mason Toy, he is making more than Muñoz. Very close, pretty much even, but he is making more than Muñoz. And we didn't shout out the Big Bear. Now I have lost it. There it is. He is making $273,000 guaranteed, at least according to this. And that's also some pretty good value if he's going to keep playing like this, Thad.
Yeah, and it'll go up as he continues to play. So.
Yeah.
The only other person I looked up was Johnny Russell. I want to see how much of a pay cut he had. And now he's at $300,000. Insane.
Yeah, Thad, that's a big pay cut. And it took a while for him to land with another team. And I almost wonder if Johnny was left here hoping for more, realized he couldn't get it, and then signed for that amount with RSL, and that breaks my heart to think if that's the case.
I am really positively confident that if he would have accepted $300,000 at the beginning of the year, he would be on this roster.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think so.
Based upon a couple of comments when I'd say something and the response I got from Peter for one, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that would have been. But on the other side of it is, I think it's better in the long run. I hate to see Johnny in an RSL kit, but he needed to not be in that locker room, and everybody would always be looking to him as a leader, even if he wasn't the captain anymore. You know, it's probably just good. And also, when you lose a captaincy, I think it's also good to go to a different team because everybody will be looking at you, or they'll be looking at you in pity. So,
and Agata's making more than Johnny.
Yeah, he's playing a lot more.
Not doing anything more.
That's also why RSL is so surprisingly low in
below
curse
Sporting.
words.
Yeah. I saw that Johnny was like their highest rated player in that last game, and he didn't even play the whole game.
No, it's because he scored.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he had to put the stupid flag in the stupid box.
Is that their post-game celebration if they win?
I think so.
I think so.
I've never seen it before.
Do they do it if they lose?
Yeah, I hadn't seen that either. That's their thing, apparently.
If they lose, does the worst player have to go put it in?
Yeah, I got it as.
They have to go take it out. Is what they have to do.
We're being mean to poor William. He's a nice guy. He's like, bro, he's just eating what they're feeding him.
I'm just reflecting on tweets asking if we could take him back.
Yeah.
After some sitters were missed.
He's been bad for them by all accounts and was subbed out just after the second half the last couple games. So it's possible he doesn't even get the nod. I don't know who their backup striker is for this weekend, but it's possible he doesn't get the nod. I would start him just because there's the net. Like, it just seems like players have a knack for scoring against their former team, and he probably fucking will just to piss me off. So
yeah, if I was Arsenal, I'd start him and Johnny both.
Yeah, I would just put him out there.
And they're missing Diego Luna, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. At least we have the salaries that we can continue talking about and complaining about the rest of the year. Monumental moment every year in Sporting KC and MLS media. I guess we get two times a year. We get that, don't we?
Let's get even more negative on Reddit.
We'll have to see if David can come in and comment on the salaries. And
I think the Reddit is becoming more positive. I looked at the match thread on Reddit for this game, and there were just people like, I love these guys. It was just pure fun again. People are having fun, and I think it's getting a lot happier. I think the power of Carey is what kept us in there. Not Carey. Carey's a Vagnan is the one I'm saying. That power of Carey is what kept us in 7th as like the most positive or whatever that is. So
the power of all Careys.
The Reddit is a better place now, is what I was getting at there. It's not as dark and narcissistic of a spot anymore.
It seems like less comments too, though. So maybe the people that are most haters have backed off for a little bit with, because it's 5 wins in 13 games.
Less interaction as the team does better. We've found that on our podcast and website as well.
Yeah, people do hate listen, and that's why I try to.
You guys are the worst. All of you listening. I guess, no, all of you listening because they won. All of you guys are the good people. We like all of you listening. It's the people that when the next game they lose that I should say all of you people.
Well, and again, I mean, people will hate listen, which is why I try to mention St. Louis every so often.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we missed this week?
Not so much a miss, but just I want to throw this out there because we are getting closer to the summer transfer window.
That's right.
Closer is in 24th of July.
Okay. That's when it
So they could be signing players. They could be people showing up in the near future if they're serious about trying to make this team better over the summer window. Hopefully we could be seeing some of that. The downside of it is if they got a player in by July 24th, they would only be able to play, I think, in 11 league games after that.
If they came before the 24th.
If they were here, signed, card transferred, and all the I's dotted, T's crossed, all that kind of stuff, they would be 11 league games left, I think, if I read that right earlier. So
it's okay. Rebuild year. We're here for vibes this year, maybe sneaking into the playoffs. They get more games if they sneak into the playoffs. And it's all about next year. Rebuilding that. All about the future, baby.
I don't disagree, but I do have 2 things I want out of this year. One is to make the playoffs, and they got to start getting points. They got to keep getting points, especially at home. And 2, I want to be above St. Louis.
It's our St. Totteringham's Day.
Do we have to transfer anyone out if we get someone in? I only know NWSL rules. MLS, I'm a little hazy.
There is some room. I don't know exactly how many spots, but there is some room. Yes,
I believe at the beginning of the season there was definitely room. Well, because Muñoz came and they didn't have to do anything there. So
and I mean, there's even international spots available, but not as many as people would want. But I think they can come up with one if they need it.
And also, is this the only window that we have to use our William Agata money, or do we have the next one too?
I think that's multiple windows, yeah?
No, maybe not. It was originally said in 2025 GAM, or allocation money or whichever thing it was. But
We can
I've
take a
also been
flyer
told
on- they can find someone else around Major League Soccer to throw that fake money at.
Yeah, but I was also told that they're not 100% sure that it is only restricted to the summer window, that it might be able to be used in another window. But again, MLS rules are so stupid.
The teams don't even know. Good God.
Garber bucks.
Yeah. And since I brought up the transfer window, the NWSL transfer window starts July 1st.
What are the chances Garber even knows all these rules? He doesn't know them, does he?
No, they have lawyers.
He only cares about Messi and what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How we can take Ronaldo's rights away from Sporting Kansas City and get them to what the LA team wants him.
I think Sporting may have given up those rights already. So,
Yes, I know.
but yes.
Did we get them up or were they forced out?
I don't know, but I think they just didn't care.
When in doubt, blame Garber.
Yeah.
Well, Thad, good shout on the transfer window opening July 24th. That just means Burns got to get to work. Mr. Burns, behind the scenes.
I think he's been working, man. I think he's been working. I don't know if they've accomplished anything, but there's a lot of activity, so I'm pretty sure that there's something happening.
He's given us enough in his short tenure to think something's going on, wheeling and dealing a little bit.
Yep. So the real question is, can the Current bring somebody in July 1st?
Do they need
That's the
anyone?
end of NWSL. Not really.
What do they need, Carrie? You bring in a position. What do they need?
I mean, they can elevate Robinson to take over Cook's place, just swap SEIs for them. And then Alex Pfeiffer should be coming back soon too. She was playing for KC Current too.
So nothing. They need nothing, is what you're saying. They're just going to win the league. Already 8 points ahead. They need nothing.
If they were going to do something, it would have to be a serious upgrade over somebody, or somebody is hurt worse than we know about. So,
Okay. Thad, leave us with something prophetic.
have some fun this weekend.
All right, I will. Sporting!
Skipper has just been sent off. Some pointers strong and ball gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.